What is going on, gamers, and welcome to my channel. This is True Vanguard coming at you with a video where we are going to talk exclusively about Battlefield 1 and specifically the question of, is this game worth buying? I know it just came out, so a lot of people are interested in it. It has generated a lot of viewership on Twitch, a lot of interest across the gaming world, lots of people interested in this game. So let me give you sort of my early take on this game. I have played several hours up to this point. I've had a lot of experience with the Battlefield franchise in the past, and as I'm playing, these are my experiences, and this is what I would tell you if you are wondering about whether or not you ought to pick this game up. First and foremost, you have to understand that this game is it's a bit of a niche game. I mean, certain types of gamers just will not jive well with this style of shooter. It is not a Twitch style shooter. It's not extremely fast paced. For the gamer who's looking to get on and play 10 minutes and feel like they got something accomplished, this is not the kind of game for you. Now I will say, coming out of the gate, I'll address the pace of the game a little bit later, but first I do want to talk about specifically just sort of the basics, like visually. What do we think about this game visually? Is it pretty enticing? I'd say absolutely. I mean, you can see the landscapes here. The cutscenes are beautiful. The colors are beautiful. Now, when it comes to story, that's another main thing that people ask about. Is the story compelling? I'm gonna be honest with you. For me personally, my level of interest in Battlefield story mode is probably, out of 10, it's probably like a 1 or a 1.5. Like, I just generally have zero interest, barely any interest at all in the story or the main campaign historically in the Battlefield games. It's just really not been the thing that grabs me. It's not the thing that makes me want to play the game. I have played several of the missions so far. I just really don't feel grabbed by it or intrigued by it. But whatever, if you like story, sure, you may enjoy it. But this game is really not. Honestly, it's just, these Battlefield games are not made for their stories. So they made a good attempt, I think, at giving you a compelling story. It's really all about the multiplayer experience when it comes to Battlefield. You see here, you have lots of options when it comes to vehicle warfare. That's a big thing about Battlefield. I have to admit, for me personally, historically in the Battlefield franchise, I have been all about, like, I love flying helicopters. So I like the era that this is set in, and I understand that we don't get choppers, but man, attack choppers have always just been the most fun for me when it comes to Battlefield. Now, in the multiplayer, you see here when you're spawning in, you get to choose your class. You've got 4 classes to choose from. You have Assault, which is maybe like the SMGs, close quarters combat, as well as explosive devices that help you manage enemy vehicles. You have the Medic, which obviously helps heal people. You can heal people when they take damage. You can revive people when they die, and you're generally giving these semi-automatic rifles. You have the Recon class, which you see here, which is obviously all about sniping, and so it's about playing a little bit more slow pace, picking your targets wisely, and taking your shots, sparingly. And then finally, you have the Support class, which has the heavy machine guns, and it's all about giving ammo to your teammates and supporting them in that capacity, and also repairing vehicles. So those are the 4 main classes that you get to play. It's a little bit mixed up from what the previous Battlefield games have been, but generally the same. A few things have just been moved around a bit, but it's generally pretty similar. Now, if you like to run and gun, you've got an option. If you like a more slow-paced play style, you've got that option available to you as well. But let me tell you this, getting back to the pace of the game, if you're a COD player and that's really your thing, you may not enjoy this so much. You might actually enjoy both styles of gaming when it comes to shooters. Maybe you like the fast-paced ones, but every now and then you want to just kind of zone out and play an immersive shooter that's just going to be really slow-paced. And that's what this is. When you do get into some heavy firefights, as you can see in the gameplay, where there's the map is pretty saturated with enemies, but then there are other times where you might go an entire minute, maybe even 2 minutes, without firing a bullet. And especially when you get into the conquest style games, and that's okay. You just have to know going into it that that's really what the pace of this game is like. So coming from my other content, my other content is primarily Destiny, which is a pretty fast-paced shooter. You're pretty much always in combat. You don't go more than, I mean, you never go a minute without shooting somebody. That just doesn't happen. So this game is a very different style of shooter. So if you have history with the Battlefield series and you've always loved Battlefield, this is, I mean, it's the same thing. It's Battlefield. It's big maps. It's open worlds. It's visually stunning. It's warfare on a large scale, and you'll probably enjoy it if you enjoyed the other ones. Some things are changed up, but pretty much it's the same. It's the same Battlefield, just with the 60 frames per second. Looks a little bit more crisp. Well, you know, obviously you could play on console, you could play on PC. I have both, but I spend more time on the console just because that's where most of my friends are. So I spend more time playing with my buddies on the PS4, and it looks just fine. I mean, it looks great, 60 frames per second. It looks pretty crisp. So I will tell you this: if you're a solo player, you may not get as much mileage out of this game. If you're pretty much a solo player that, you know, every now and then you have a few minutes to hop on a game and shoot some stuff, this game's probably not going to cater to you too much, and you may tire of it quickly, because that's really not where the fun is. You're going to need to spend some time with this game. If you're going to get enjoyment out of it, you're going to need to sit down for a while and you know, play a full match probably, unless you're doing like deathmatch. That's an option, just to do strictly infantry gameplay, but that's really not, you're not getting the full Battlefield experience if you just play that way, in my opinion at least. Really the rush and conquest is where it's at, and they also added in operations, which you're really going to need to set some time aside if you're going to play the operations. It's sort of a mix of all kinds of objective style play, and lots of it's all out war on a big scale. So it's going to take you some time. If you're a solo player, you're probably not going to enjoy it as much because you're going to get frustrated with your teammates, because this really is all about being in a squad and playing with your squad. If you're going to get, you know, if you're going to get the best scores and you're going to win the most matches, it's really going to come down to squad play. Your squad can have several people in it, and in that squad you're probably going to want to coordinate your classes. You're gonna want a healer. You're gonna want someone playing assault in case a vehicle rolls up on you. You want someone to be able to give you guys ammo, and you might want someone as recon that can go up on a flank and put shots onto an objective point while you are up close taking the aggro. But if you're a solo player, all that stuff's really hard to coordinate. I mean, you just gotta hope and pray that your teammates that you're not talking to on the comms are going to be smart enough to do the same thing and coordinate as well. So if you're a solo player, I don't think you're going to enjoy this game that much in the long haul. Another thing that I do love about Battlefield, especially this game, the maps are extremely interactable, I suppose is the word. You can interact with the maps in a lot of different ways. I mean, everything has its place. I mean, even in this bunker, you can open up each and every individual window to get shots on maybe someone that someone has spotted on the other side. So you open up the shutters and you put shots down. Like this one I had opened earlier, and now I come back and I've got a clear angle on guys coming up those stairs there. So yeah, the maps you can do a lot of cool things with the maps. There's no levolution like there was in Battlefield 4, where you destroy something and like an entire giant building comes tumbling down and sends a tidal wave. That was Battlefield 4. It's not in this game. This one is a little bit more reminiscent of the previous titles, where it just kind of goes back to everything being destructible, and the map basically just kind of changes and evolves throughout the course of the match as things start to crumble and decay, and you know, that's pretty cool. It's fun. So, and it keeps things changing. You know, you can't just go to the same place and camp the same building. Suddenly you go back there and that building's gone. There's just a pile of rubble. You got to figure out something. Some other way to deal with your surroundings. So the way that you interact with the map is really dynamic, and it can be really entertaining, and just adds a completely different factor to the gameplay that is unique to Battlefield as opposed to other shooters. So when it all boils down to it, it all comes down to the question of what is it that you're looking for. When it comes to whether or not you ought to buy the game, it depends on what you're after. If you're after a game that is going to be something you can sit down with for a long chunk of time with your friends and just have a blast working together and doing fun stuff together, then this game is definitely worth a buy. I will tell you that I bought the game, you know, the day it came out. I was looking forward to it, but at the same time, I bought my two best friends a copy as well and sent it to them so that we could play it together. Because honestly, that's where the fun in this game is. It's playing with your friends and creating memories and just laughing your butts off together. It's a great way for me to catch up with my buddies from college. So that's what I do, and I have not regretted it so far. I've dumped several hours into the game at this point. So it all comes down to what you're after. So hopefully it'll meet your needs. If not, then hopefully this video gave you some insights to what the game is like and help you make up your mind. So thanks for stopping by, guys. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you later.